Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to see you. My name is Beryl Potter, and I would like to thank you for attending this morning's Dharma Family and Spring Ohigan service. Our special guest speaker today is Reverend Victor Ogundipe from the Berkeley Higashi Honganji Temple. We will also have an Ohigan potluck after the service. We will begin the service with a moment of quiet sitting. Reverend Kuwahara will strike the bell, and we will sit for 1 or 2 minutes to quiet our minds and prepare to hear the Dharma. Then he will strike the bell again, and we will continue with the services.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Reverend Kuwahara will now chant the Hanjusan, which is on the handout.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for attending today's Ohigan service, Spring Equinox Day. And so today, twice a year, we have this special chanting, Hanjusan. So today we are going to use a handout, not a service book. And then I think reading is from left to right, not the right to left, left to right. There is like an arrow, so to show the direction, how to read the passage. And then I think key, this chanting begins with the D, and then goes up to E, and then eventually goes up to A. I know A part is a little bit high, and then going down back to D. So it's a kind of beautiful sutra chanting. I hope you can follow, or you just listen to it. That's fine too. Let's enjoy this beautiful chanting Hanjusan, which was composed by Shandao, one of the Chinese Pure Land master, I think 6th or 7th century. It's a kind of long time, old, classic sutra chanting. Okay. 子心奇妙来西方阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏なしゃか如来心法うど少女少言無少税移動者馬墳家に発想上仏道修上惑説人伝二乗法惑説菩薩涅槃因惑前惑頓妙空人法二所見相乗根性理社会無薬鈍言無知難介護ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏なようらく境内右戦前景万語祝小不体官行海だ教とうせ即税と下菩提像一日七日千小仏妙断修有小安楽一に海だね半語即徳不大小無所万語祝実南俗一時本の百千脈大社馬小母人六道五者公未語ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナミダインジホシンジトンシャオイグ 菩提ネウオブショ楽修法修慶修道妙法像四十八願因寺法一世願一衆上修法小言妙極楽古代官病無限量ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏長徳菩提等身座天狗五祭道修上真相光明聖法界少々義小界無薬一光明相続性生脈念仏往生人欲非実法小仏国極楽安心実税所ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏南本師釈迦修行上寺上皇道修上一切如来説法弁躍動今日釈迦尊随記説法皆無や各徳語下に有心門門門不動八万四異滅無明加護因利見即是弥陀語一生少年在会場ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナフムミダグゼイリキガジガコシュシャバジトイライジョウホウラ現見如来に門母心上十仏起源非 がごこんにちしほうこく実ぜしゃばほんしりき脈非本し知識観みだ浄土運河に特小上道法師音ナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアガンニシクドク平等聖祭道発菩提心おう上安楽こナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダ
Please rise if you are able to follow along with the Gatha, Higan 1, which is on page 190 of the Purple Service Book. Please remain standing for the reading of the Three Treasures 1.
The purest time in nature's realm, in the early spring and fall. These are the days when hearts of life become one with self and all. In the spring, the gentle breezes, in its most sustaining way, lifts our longing spirits beyond the toils of life. The purest time in nature's realm, in the early spring and fall. These are the days when hearts of life become one with self and all. The autumn sky, its golden haze, in its radiant splendor, fills our searching heart, the flow of nature's ways.
I will now recite the Three Treasures 1 on page 8 of the Purple Service Book. Please feel free to follow along. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult it is to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. We will now have a children's Dharma message by Reverend Victor Ogundipe.
Okay. Thank you, Beryl. So again, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for attending today's service. So it's my great honor to introduce today's guest speaker, Reverend Victor Ogundipe. And Victor Sensei is a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist. He received Tokudo ordination last year, September. So he's a fresh minister. And he's currently studying for Kyoshi ordination, which is a next level of ministry. He's also a student at the Institute of Buddhist Studies, IBS, in the Masters of Divinity program. And so Victor and his family, wife Melinda, and the 8-year-old daughter, Sari, just moved to the Bay Area in fall last year. So fresh new to Bay Area too. Yeah. And Victor Sensei works as a data scientist. Data scientist at the University of Michigan. I think so. You work for remotely, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, such a convenient, wonderful world now. So he enjoys learning new things, visiting new places, especially visiting Buddhist temples and the sanghas that he has never visited before. And he is very interested in exploring ways of sharing the Dharma through film. Okay, so Victor Sensei, よろしくお願いします。Thank you.
Okay. Well, good morning. Thank you, Kurahara Sensei, and thank you to the Sangha for having me. One thing that I noticed here, Kurahara Sensei said that I'm at IBS, and I'm noticing Tanaka Sensei, who I've read many of his papers and have not met him in person, but I just wanted to say good to meet you and thank you so much. So let us start in Gasho, actually. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namdubs, Namdubs, Namdubs. Okay, so again, thankful to be here today. Today for the student Dharma talk, the thing that I wanted to talk about is actually, and I'll wait. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Okay, sorry, I'm too far away. And I've got a little PowerPoint that I want to share. So. Okay. So, so today for the Student Dharma Talk, what I want to talk about is how being wrong is an opportunity. Today we celebrate Ohigan, and I think this is a time of gratitude and thankfulness, but I think it's also a time to reflect. And as I was writing this Dharma talk and thinking about what I was going to talk about, I thought about all of the times just so far this year that I've been wrong, and it's a lot. But I was also thinking about, sometimes it's been small things, like, is it going to rain tomorrow? But then other times it's been bigger things, like actually misjudging a person. But I think for all of us, children, teenagers, adults, one really important thing to keep in mind is that being wrong is a great opportunity. I think we live in a world where we're often rewarded for being right. We're rewarded for succeeding. And I think this can be a good thing, right? I think it's good to try to give people accurate information. I think it's good to try to succeed in school. So it's not that it's bad to attempt to succeed or attempt to be as accurate as possible, but I think that there are also times where we're going to be wrong. And this is something that we have to acknowledge, and the question is, what do we do with that? There are times where we'll fail. And so I think often we can feel badly about this. We can feel sad or embarrassed, and I think we don't have to feel this way. From a Buddhist perspective, being wrong and failing can actually be a really powerful opportunity. I even think back to reading Shinran and some of his verses, and I feel like when he realized that he's often wrong is sometime where you actually see him learning the most or having the greatest insights. So what I want to do is share a clip from a movie called Meet the Robinsons. And in this scene, a young boy meets a family of inventors. And in this part of the movie, he learns how failing and being wrong can actually be very helpful, a great opportunity. And even he really learns how to eventually succeed, we have to have many failures along the way. So I feel like he is like us, right? Learning how failing can be a great opportunity. We make mistakes, we learn from them, and we keep moving forward. So with that, I'll share this clip with you now.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
Keep moving forward.
I mean, this stuff is way too advanced for me.
Keep moving forward.
And what if I can't fix this? What are we gonna do?
Keep moving forward.
Why do you keep saying that? And don't just say keep moving forward.
It's my dad's motto.
Why would his motto be keep moving forward?
It's what he does.
What's that supposed to mean?
That is an excellent question. Robinson Industries, the world's leading scientific research and design factory. My dad runs the company. They mass produce his inventions. His motto, keep moving forward. It's what he does.
What has he invented?
Everything. Carl, the time machine, the travel tubes.
Your dad invented the time machine?
Yep. 5 years ago, Dad wakes up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, wants to build a time machine. So he starts working. We're talking plans. We're talking scale models. We're talking prototypes.
That's a prototype?
The very first, or what's left of it.
Yikes.
Yeah, dark day at the Robinson house. Prototypes 2 and 3, not much better. Number 6, 58, 212, 45, 952, and they all end the same way. But he doesn't give up. Dude, I can't take you seriously in that hat. He keeps working and working until finally he gets it. The first working time machine. Then he keeps working and working until finally he gets it again. The second working time machine.
Kinda small.
I'm assuming that's a joke. I'm ignoring it for time reasons. This, my friend, is merely a model because unfortunately, time machine number 2 is in the hands of the bowler hat guy. Pretty amazing story, huh?
Yeah.
Now, are you ready to start working?
I think that's it. I did it.
I knew you could. Nice work, my friend. Well, you know what they say. Keep moving.
Don't say it.
Boys, dinner time.
Not now, Mom.
If you aren't up here in 5 minutes, I'm gonna come down and get you.
Better get up there.
Okay, gang, time for the second course. And what goes better with meatballs than PB&J?
Hey, that's just like.
Stupid! Carl?
Is everything all right?
We're just experiencing bugs.
Just what the doctor ordered. My friend Lewis is an inventor. He can fix it.
Over, you know I can't.
Oh, come on. Give it a try.
You don't understand what's at stake here. Uncle Joe's seen the toast.
We're past the point of no return.
It doesn't get PB&J.
I don't know.
You would really be helping us out, Lewis.
Please. Okay, that should do it.
It's so exciting. Let her rip, Lewis.
Quickly, Uncle Joe can't hold on much longer.
Everybody ready?
Go, Carl. Oh no. No. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You failed!
And it was awesome. Exceptional.
Outstanding. I did better. From failing, you learn. From success, not so much.
If I gave up every time I failed, I never would have made the meatball cannon.
I never would have made my fireproof pants. Still working out the kinks.
Like my husband always says.
Okay. Okay, so, I think hopefully from this clip, we can see how being wrong is a great opportunity. One of the things I really like about it is, they even celebrate failure, right? So not only kind of leaning into the fact that it's an opportunity, but it can even be something that we can celebrate with the idea that we utilize this to continue to move forward. So I think we move forward, but then we also slow down, right, like we're doing at Ohigan, and we reflect. And we recognize, again, how failure can be something to be grateful for. And this made me think of a Japanese phrase that's very special to me. And it's a phrase that one of my senseis actually says to me, and it's gambate. And I'm wondering if we can say this together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Gambate. It's very, my sensei would say this to me when I'm nervous about doing something, or I'm going to try something new that I've never faced before. She'll say, gambate, do your best. And so I think like we saw in Meet the Robinsons, we do our best, we continue to move forward, we don't give up, and we find ways to try to be thankful for the life that we've been given. Because Buddhism tells us that in this way we can live a fulfilling life together. And as I was thinking about this, I said, okay, well, what are ways that we can find to be thankful for this life that we've been given? And I think one critical way we can do this is by learning our history. And I've recently actually been learning more about the history of this temple It's kind of a long story, so I won't maybe when I talk to some people after, I'll kind of talk more about how that happened. But I've been learning about the former Bomari Jane Imamura. And I think, this is a good example of Gambate, a person that did their best. She never gave up. She impacted many lives. And so with this being Women's History Month, I also wanted to bring her up as someone that we can think about when we think about moving forward and doing our best. So with that, Sangha, let us end again in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namdams, Namdams, Namdams. Thank you. Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you, Reverend Ogundipe, for your wonderful Dharma message for the students. And I love Meet the Robinsons. I can watch that movie all the time. Please rise if you were able to follow along with the Gatha Oneness, which is on page 180 of the Purple Service Book.
The north meets the south at the equator. The night meets the day at the setting of the sun. But Amida meets me wherever I am. At home or a faraway place, a desert isle or amid a sea of people. Remember that I am not alone. Amida and I are one, and I bow my head in gratitude. I bow my head in Gasho.
Now, we would like to welcome the following new guests. Willem Workinger. Oh, yes, please stand or raise your hand or show us that you're here. Alex Stevens. Very good. Welcome, welcome. Erica Ambrose. All righty, welcome. Frank Lindquist. Welcome. All righty. Now we'll read the announcements. The spring Ohigan potluck. We will have Ohigan potluck after the service in the social hall today. Please join us if you can. The BBT Dharmanar monthly online study session is Thursday, March 27th at 6:30 p.m. The topic is Transition, Aging, 6 Paramitas. The sign-up link is on our website. The BBT Taiko class spring recital will take place Sunday, March 30th at 2 p.m. at the temple. Please come and watch members of the BBT Taiko beginner and intermediate classes perform what they've learned in the last session. The online meditation and discussion will take place April 2nd at 7 p.m. The sign-up link is on our website. The Jodo Shinshu Center parking will be available next Sunday, March 30th. The gate will be open at 9 a.m. and close at 9:30 a.m. sharp. Please arrive during this period to take advantage of the JSC parking for the Sunday service. Karen Sensei.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karen Kato, and I'm sharing the weekly bazaar announcement. So the bazaar is Sunday, May 18th. Couple quick things. The delicious steak barbecue dinner, you can pre-order it online. Check out the temple website. And silent auction goes live May 1. So if you have any donations, please, the earlier you bring them in, the better for the crew that has to load them in. And then I think my last thing is we are doing a fundraiser for Bazaar, and we are doing some Old Temple kitchen improvements. So our goal is 30,000. We are at 5,000 now, and we are, if you're able to donate early, we'd really appreciate it, because we're holding off on some purchases to see if we're going to meet our goal or not. So we're looking to buy a new refrigerator and freezer, but we're not going to do it unless we meet our goal. So if able, please donate, and there's posters in the social hall. Thanks.
All righty, thank you. Now the students will be dismissed to their classes. Would Dharma School, I love it, such enthusiasm. Would Dharma School students please go to the front, gasho, and go to the classroom? All others are invited to remain for the adult Dharma talk. Such beautiful music. We will now have the adult Dharma talk by Reverend Victor Oguntepe.
Okay, I'm back. So, again, let's start in Gasho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namdubs, namdubs, namdubs. Okay, okay. It was good seeing the Dharma school kids. It must be excellent Dharma school here because they were excited. But today I'm hoping to share my Tokudo experience with you, some insights that I've had since coming back. When I think of Ohigan, I think about the aspiration for the other shore. It's hard not to think of Tokudo. And really the commitment that you're making to a life of learning, sharing, and living the Buddha Dharma in Sangha. It was amazing that my first time in Japan was for Tokudo because I've wanted to go to Japan for a while, maybe a decade or two, before I even knew what Jodo Shinshu was. So I never knew that it would be Jodo Shinshu, that it would be Tokudo that would bring me to Japan, for the first time. I've even kind of joked with some people, like, if life was a movie, I don't think you could have scripted a better first trip than that. But one of the things is that, as you can imagine, it's hard to forget Tokudo. But I've noticed something that is very interesting to me, and that is that as time goes on, I remember the experience differently. And what I mean by that is that each day that I get out from the actual Tokudo ordination, I feel like somehow I go deeper into the experience. So it's kind of like it's a fine wine. Like Tokudo, it gets better with time. And I think part of this is that when you're experiencing Tokudo, there are a lot of surface level details that you're focused on. You're taking the flight from the U.S. to Japan. You're trying to get checked into the hotel. You got to do robe fitting. It was funny because I met some of the ministers before, and you have to get your face shaved. And so I had a lot of hair on my face, and they just kind of smiled and pinched my cheeks when I got shaved completely. But, there are a lot of things that are going on in that process. I think for me also, it was learning Japanese. I'm slowly learning Japanese. So just trying to kind of learn and hear all of the things that are going on around me. One word that I definitely learned for sure as a vegan in Japan is yes, I. I definitely learned that. And I also learned that on a Japanese menu, even when it says yes, I, that does not mean there's no meat in it. So that's one word I know that I will, never forget. But ultimately, Tokudo is deeper than all of these things. And, for me, it's a ceremony, but it's not really about the ceremony or the achievement. One of the insights I've had as time has gone on is that Tokudo is not about going up, but it's about going down. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, going down into deeper reflection about this so-called self. I think of when Shinran said, I am such that I do not know right and wrong. I cannot distinguish between false and true. I lack even small love and small compassion, and yet for fame and profit enjoy teaching others. And so for me, this is a deeper understanding. This is the deeper that I'm talking about, going deeper into our own delusions. And for me, this is going down, right? This is being humbled and learning how we come to see ourselves more clearly as we go down deeply into the teachings of the Buddha Dharma. So I briefly want to share these deeper insights that have grown clearer since returning from Tokudo. And there are three experiences I want to share, and one involves a 100-yen coin. The second one involves a bench in front of a temple. And the third one involves really learning to hear the Dharma. So all very, very simple things, that provided opportunities for awakening in daily life. So I will start with the 100-yen coin. As I kind of alluded to, one of the big parts of getting ready for ordination is getting your robes. And these are both the robes that you wear at the ceremony and the robes that you will eventually wear in temple. So whether that's for Shosuke Hoyo, for Eitaikyo, for funeral services, etc. Actually, these robes I'm wearing now are one of the ones that I got, in preparation for Tokudo. And months before you arrive, you send your body measurements there, and a lot of skilled tailors begin to prepare these robes for you. And one interesting thing I learned there is that a lot of the tailors that know how to make these robes, the number of the tailors that know how to make them is decreasing. But thankfully, many continue to make these robes for our tradition. But I remember walking into the robe shop and, to meet the tailor that was going to make any final alterations before the ceremony. And I remember that the shop was busy, but it was calm. And when we walked in the shop, all of the men were wearing suits and ties, but they didn't have the blazers on. And they welcomed us, greeted us warmly, and then kind of went right back down to work. And I went, the sensei that accompanied me to Japan for Tokudo is Reverend Osa, who is the resident minister at the Berkeley Higashi Honganji Temple. And when we walked into the shop, we met Suzuki Sensei. Suzuki Sensei was the tailor that was actually going to kind of help and do final alterations. And him and Reverend Osa, they've known each other for a long time, but it had been a while since they'd seen each other. And so they mentioned how long it had been, and it was really just kind of a beautiful reunion. But after greeting us, Suzuki Sensei brought out the robes. And one of the things I remember is that they were just folded so perfectly. One of the things we have to do as ministers is learn how to fold our robes. I don't know if I'll ever learn to fold my robes as expertly as they were folded then. But, and another thing that I really wish is that we would have had a camera there, because when I was trying to put on my robes for the first time, it was like a child trying to put on their shirt for the first time. It was just really, really foreign to me. But thankfully, Suzuki Sensei was very, very patient. And so after this, all the alterations are made. We thank Suzuki Sensei, and Osa Sensei and I were headed back to the Mother Temple. But right as we were walking up the stairs, we see someone on a bike coming toward us at top speed, and they're waving their hands. And so we stop to look, and eventually we see that it's Suzuki Sensei. And he jumps off his bike, and he's out of breath, and he has a 100-yen coin in his hand. And he tells us that when we paid for the robes, we left this 100 yen. And so the thing that is so interesting about it is that the robes cost about 1,500,000 yen, so that's about $1,000. And 100 yen is about 70 cents. But the way that Suzuki Sensei was pedaling toward us, it was, you would have thought that he was in the Tour de France. Like it was, but when I thought about it in this act, I realized that Suzuki Sensei had internalized the teachings of Shinran Shonin, and he was living them out. And he was showing me what Tokudo really means, right? Because it's not only about dedicating your life to others, but also appreciating the importance of every action, right, of every moment. And so for Suzuki Sensei, it wasn't about the amount, right? It could have been 100 yen, it could have been 100,000 yen. I think it could have been 1 million yen. For him, it was bigger than that. One of the things that Shinran talks about, he talks about other power, but he also talks about a turning of the heart. And when he describes this, he says that it inspires a deep warmth for friends and fellow practicers. And so for me, when Suzuki Sensei handed me the 100 yen coin, to me, that is what it represented. It represented that deep warmth that Shinran was talking about. And so again, this helped me to understand that Tokudo is not about going up, right? But it's about going down, about humbling yourself in each moment, about Namu Amida Butsu in each moment. So I'm thankful to Suzuki Sensei. The next experience involves a bench in front of a local Jodo Shinshu temple in Kyoto. And this is actually the temple, and maybe you can kind of see the bench there. But a few days before Tokudo, I had the good fortune of meeting Nakajima Sensei. And he's a resident minister of a local temple in Kyoto. And again, Nakajima Sensei and Osa Sensei, good friends. So when they saw each other, it had been a while. And even though I'm just meeting Nakajima Sensei for the first time, it just felt like a homecoming for me too, in some ways. But when we arrived at Nakajima Sensei's temple, he brought us into the hondo, and then he said he would be right back, and he disappeared for a few minutes. And when he emerged with a plate of wagashi that he had prepared for us. And I never had wagashi before. So little did I know I was about to be in for a really, really delicious treat. It was just so delicious. But, you know, for those that haven't had wagashi before, it's basically a subtly sweet treat that's made from bean paste and other ingredients. And usually you have it with green tea, and so we had it with green tea also. And it's often shaped and colored into beautiful objects like flowers or fruits. And I think that this is what makes wagashi so special, because it's like you're eating beautiful and delicious art. And you really get to see the time and the care that the person has put into crafting it for you. It's really just a beautiful way to welcome somebody beyond words. So, I guess a shameless plug here. If there's someone here that knows how to make wagashi and is willing to teach, please let me know. Because this is a skill I would really love to learn, because I would like to learn to show my appreciation for people in this special way. But we ate the wagashi that Nakajima Sensei, made for us, and then he began to tell us about the temple, and he took us on a tour. And one very interesting feature of the temple is that as soon as you pass the gates and you come onto the temple property, this area here, that area there is actually a bar. And a couple of nights a week, Nakajima Sensei is actually the bartender there. And so this was something I wasn't expecting, but then when I thought about it again, this is pretty Jodo Shinshu, right? So it's another way to connect with people and open up opportunities for sharing the Dharma. One other interesting thing I learned about Nakajima Sensei is that he literally followed in Shinran's footsteps. And what I mean by this is that, one thing I forgot to mention is that when we met Nakajima Sensei initially, the place where we met him was Rokakudo, which is the temple where Shinran had a vision of Prince Shotoku, directing him to, leave the monastic life on Mount Hiei and go down and listen to and follow Honen Shonin. But Nakajima Sensei was so moved by this story that he actually decided to take the pilgrimage for himself. And so he went up and back down Mount Hiei at nighttime, like Shinran would have done during his 100-day or 95-day retreat experience. So there are a lot of stories I could tell about that if I had more time, but the thing that I remember the most from our time with Nakajima Sensei is that wooden bench in front of the temple. And for those that have spent time in Japan in the summer, you know that it can be aggressively hot and humid. And this is actually something I was not prepared for on my first trip. Fortunately, I feel like Japan has made me stronger now, so I'll be ready next time. I was thinking as I was doing the kids' Dharma talk, I'm going to have to remember Gambate for myself the next time that I'm in that heat. But Nakajima Sensei shared a story about a hot day where an elderly woman was waiting for a bus in front of the temple. And as you maybe can kind of see, there's an awning over the temple, but before this bench, there was nowhere to sit. And so Nakajima Sensei brought out a chair for the woman so that she could sit in the shade on this hot day while she was waiting for the bus. But after this, Nakajima Sensei actually built a bench so that in the future, on a hot day, whether it was that woman or anyone else, they would have a place to sit in the shade as they waited for, the bus on a hot day. And, I don't know if you all know how beautiful this is, because I think sometimes it can be hard to see because it's just so simple, right? But this is the kind of person that Nakajima Sensei is, right? He sees an opportunity to serve, and he serves. Simple. Like very simple Dharma. And again, in this, Nakajima Sensei was showing me the true meaning of Tokudo, right? That it's not about going up. Again, it's about going down into the struggles of people in our Sangha, the struggles in communities, and really the world at large. And if we do this, Shinran assures that our hearts will be moved, right? Each heart uniquely, and this natural movement of the heart will move our hands and our feet to do something about the various kinds of suffering that we encounter in the world. So again, very thankful to Nakajima Sensei. And so the last recollection that I want to share is about learning to hear the Dharma. And this piece of art, Kuya, is my favorite piece of Buddhist art because he's saying the Nembutsu, right? And so it's a visualization. There are little Buddhas coming out of his mouth as he's saying Nembutsu. But one thing I really missed about Japan since returning from Tokudo is going to the Mother Temple every morning. There were so many, I don't know, we want to use the word faithful, devout. There were people we would see every morning. All across the age spectrum, they were there faithfully before us every morning. We got up at we left at around 7 to get there around 7:15. It felt like they had been there since 6 maybe. But it was just a beautiful thing to see. But every morning, Osa Sensei and I would set out early to catch the service. And I remember the streets of Kyoto being very calm at that time. There were cars, but there weren't many. There was kind of an energy. We would pass shops where they were making fresh tofu. So there was just kind of a quiet intentionality, that we felt on our walks there. And at the Mother Temple, I was able to hear the priests chant. They would chant Amida Sutra very, very fast. I'm going to take a while before I can chant it that fast. Shoshinge, Nembutsu Wasan, and even Renyo's letters. But after this, a minister would give a Dharma talk. And the amazing thing is that at the Mother Temple, for the morning Dharma talk, the ministers come from different prefectures of Japan. So it's a different minister every day. And so I was not only able to hear Dharma talks in Japan, but I was able to listen to ministers from different parts of the country to really get a feel for the different flavors of how Shinran Shonen's teachings are shared. And these Dharma talks were varied, right? I remember one minister related the teachings of Shinran Shonen to a John Lennon song. He was a huge John Lennon fan, so he could hear the Nembutsu in that. And there was another minister that told a story about a family where the mother died, and he talked about how even though the mother was in the Pure Land, through other power, she continued to play a role in guiding her family. And so there were many, many more talks, but all of the Dharma talks made me think about the teachings in a different or deeper way. But the part that I remember the most is Osa Sensei translating the Dharma talks for me in real time as we sat on the tatami floor of the Mother Temple. And again, like I said, I'm learning Japanese slowly, but my Japanese is still poor, right? There's no way that I could have been able to hear these Dharma talks on my own. And so each morning, I would sit closely beside Osa Sensei, and she would translate the Dharma talks for me on the spot. And so I would hear the Japanese minister's voice, and then I would hear Osa Sensei's translation. And it was good to hear both, right? Because I could hear the emotion, in the minister's voice that kind of cuts across language barriers. But then, I would also hear the English in a familiar voice, in Osa Sensei's voice. And so, when you're in a country where you don't speak the language, and you're fortunate enough to have someone to translate for you, it's a very humbling experience, right? Because you have ears, but you can't understand, right? You have to depend on someone and trust them. And they are really your ears and your mouth in that culture. And so through this person, you begin to learn the language and the culture and the history. So as you can imagine, I was grateful to Osa Sensei. I am grateful to Osa Sensei and will continue to be. But when I thought about this deeper, remember every day further out, I'm kind of re-experiencing Tokudo in different ways. I realized that Osa Sensei translating the Dharma for me actually didn't start in Japan. Right? It is actually the way that I got to Japan, right? Because she took time to share the teachings of Shinran Shonen, learning from her in our Monday study class, learning to chant Shoshinge from her and Hasegawa Sensei, learning how to conduct services and rituals, and really just bringing me into the Sangha and showing me what Sangha is about. So I think, again, all of these things are ways that she was translating Jodo Shinshu for me so that I would be able to hear the Dharma. So I was learning from Mosa Sensei in that moment the true meaning of Tokudo. Again, that Tokudo is not about going up, right? It's about going down. Again, here, down on the tatami mat and helping others to develop the ears to hear the Dharma so that they too can know that they are unconditionally embraced by Amida Buddha. So these are just a few insights that I've had since, coming back from receiving Tokudo, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to share them with you today. But before we close, I just want to thank Reverend Kurahara, Reverend CJ, Rumi Sensei, and just everyone at the temple that made it possible for me to be together with you today. And so Sangha, let us close again in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namdabs, Namandabs, Namandabs. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor Sensei. ありがとうございました。So, so Higashi Honganji morning service starts 7, right? Yeah, which is 1 hour later than our headquarters, Mother Temple. Our temple starts 6 a.m. So maybe, people have a choice, affiliated to Higashi Honganji starting 7 a.m. or maybe Nishi Honganji morning service starts at 6. But at the either temple morning service is really refreshing. It's really wonderful. And then people come from different places of the Japan world and then attend the service. Yeah, I like attending morning service at the Honganji too. And then I think because people see something valuable at the temple, oneness of voice of chanting, listening to the Dharma Monpo, hearing the Dharma. So we receive something precious, something valuable at the temple. So that's why people are brought to the temple even early morning, right? And then Victor Sensei too, he encountered, so today we recited the 3 treasures. Because of many causes of conditions, he encountered that. Of course, all of you encountered the Dharma. And then, this is Sunday morning, but there's so many people here to listen to the Dharma. I'm sure Dharma has the power. And then this Dharma deepens the quality or enhance the quality of our everyday life. So please continue to come and then listen to the Dharma and then receive a great, great Dharma gift from the Buddha, Amida Buddha. So now I'd like to say thank you to all those who have made today's service possible. So first I'd like to say thank you to Reverend Victor Ogundupe for your wonderful Dharma messages. ありがとうございました. Thank you very much. And then thank you, Beryl, for being a wonderful, wonderful chairperson. ありがとうございました. And then thank you, live streaming team, for your help during today's live streaming service. ありがとうございます. And then thank you, Emiko-san and the Sangha singers for the beautiful, beautiful gathas. ありがとうございました. Thank you. And then thank you, Dharma School teachers, for providing Dharma lessons to our Dharma School students. ありがとうございます. And then thank you, Tara, for being a minister's assistant to assist me today. ありがとうございます. Thank you. And then lastly, the all Tobans monthly group and the temple members for contributing, helping today's potluck. So now we receive, our spiritual, food from the Buddha, and then now go to the social hall, and then physically, we receive the, food and the, nutrition. Okay. So again, thank you very much for attending today's service. This concludes today's service, and then so see you next Sunday.